Brink was a first-person shooter that received a strange amount of negativity back when it released. And I don't mean negativity as it exists today, when a game that is obviously garbage like Halo Infinite comes out, and everyone fawns over it despite it being obvious garbage, and those who point out its flaws get dismissed. No, Brink's hate was nearly universal, leading to this game rotting on the vine. Now, I'm not here to discuss game mechanics. There are others whom could do so far better than I ever could, but I will say that I personally never had any issues with how the game played from a mechanical standpoint. I will note, however, that in this video I had to enable a God mode script.
You were weak, and gods must be strong.
I would rather not have done that, but when playing this game in single player, allied bots seldom attempt to accomplish objectives and will often be mowed down in mass by the enemy, while the opposing bots will have a laser focus on their objectives and very quick reaction times.
お前はもう死んでいる。
For the sake of the video, I had to utilize this to get the proper footage. No, I will be discussing writing, as that's what I do here on my channel. Did the story of Brink flop? Or was it let down by the wave of vitriol back in the day? Let's get the base premise of the game out of the way.
40 years ago, we started building the Ark. Back then it was an experiment, a dream, a self-sustaining city of the future. But then the seas rose. We were forced to relocate, but still our floating Ark became a refuge for tens of thousands. To maintain order, the Ark was divided. And now we're out of time. The Ark is wearing out. No new ship or plane has been seen in 20 years. The new guests live in slums, disease, thirst. Some have formed a resistance that vows to seize power and search for life outside the Ark. Ark's security force says we must have order to survive. So will you save the Ark or escape it?
So, the setting of Brink is one where the oceans have risen on our planet, covering most landmasses. The Ark was originally constructed as a sort of proof of concept, a prototype of what could be constructed, a city that floated on the water. As the seas rose, though, it became a refuge for more and more people. It was never designed for this, though. It's separated now into two sections. Those who helped fund and govern the Ark, along with their families, live in the areas that were purpose-built and are known as the Founders. Those who arrived on the Ark seeking a refuge are known as the Guests, and live on spaces constructed out of whatever could be fashioned at the time. Given that, again, the Ark was never designed to accommodate this many people. But tensions are rising between the Guests and the Founders. The Guests want better living conditions, and have started a violent resistance in an effort to either acquire them or escape the Ark. Meanwhile, the Ark security forces are trying to maintain order and safety. Let's look at their leaders, with Chen from the Resistance and Makawena from the Security, respectively.
If we stay here, we die. To save our people, we must escape the Ark!
Your orders are perfectly clear. You will resolve this situation peacefully and quell this unrest without recourse to unnecessary violence. Lethal force is a last, not a first option. Any and all civilian casualties will result in your immediate dismissal. Not barbarians, Captain MacLeod. You, of all people, should remember that.
After today's kidnapping, the Founders have finally authorized the use of deadly force. Be very clear on this,
Captain,
ladies.
on deck!
Men, for the Ark to survive, we must have order. We must save the Ark!
So, Chen proclaims to the guests that staying on the Ark will be a slow death for them, yet he can provide no evidence that there is anywhere for them to go outside of it. Meanwhile, MacLeod is being chewed out by his superiors, and you can really get the feeling from the dialogue of how these corporate-style leaders have no idea what it's actually like outside their ivory tower. The executive is droning on about not using lethal force, despite lethal force being used against the security forces. That's something I could easily see happening in the real world. But we have our goals established. Chen's resistance wants to escape the Ark, while MacLeod's security wants to keep it from being destroyed by them. So before we get onto the first mission of the game, I'll preface this by saying that the loading screens act as the mission briefings, with Chen and MacLeod giving their directives to the troops, followed by brief dialogue from a trio of characters on either side. All of these but one go unnamed, the one being this guy from security.
Campbell!
So I will have to give them code names. For security, I'll be calling Campbell Soup, their leader Captain, and the other guy Bald. These three have a back and forth dynamic, with Soup trying to be the optimist, Bald being the pessimist, and Captain trying to keep them focused. For the resistance, we've got Scars, Nose, and Edgy. Nose here seems to believe that he's trying to better people's lives, while Scars often comes off as just violent for the sake of being violent. Edgy here, well, we'll get to him when we get there. Anyway, let's have a look at both sides. Personally, I side with security. They seem to be the morally upstanding faction, and one of my favorite VTubers is a cop, so I've got to represent.
Brothers, for months now we've had an agent in the Founders Council. The time has come to pull him out. On my orders, he liberated some very specific intel and made his way to your safe house in the old visitor center. We're debriefing him now, but Moko and his men are hot on his tail. I've sent a boat to extract you all, but you have to protect him until we get all the intel. If they capture him, he knows too much. Don't let them take him alive. Moko and his men will shoot to kill. You have to defend yourselves. Don't hesitate or you're dead. Hold out until the boat gets there.
Chen's terrorists have seized a Founders Council member. They're holding him in the old aquarium visitor center. The clock's ticking. To force the council into action, Chen's injected the hostage with a neurotoxin, and he'll be dead within the hour if we don't get him to medical. If you can't rescue him in time, don't stay for payback. Cut your losses and pull out. We're on shore here. If Chen sees we can't protect the founder, there'll be more kidnappings. If the guests don't think we can protect them, we lose all legitimacy, and we lose the Ark. I'm counting on you to get in there, neutralize the terrorists, and get that man to safety. ASAP.
So Chen plays off what they're doing as an informant spy in the Founders Council has made his way to this abandoned aquarium to inform the Resistance about what the Founders are up to. MacLeod tells a very different tale. He says that this founder was abducted by the Resistance and is being grilled for information, having been injected with a neurotoxin.
A deadly neurotoxin.
So, their objective is to save this man before that does him in. So this game uses the trope of the unreliable narrator, where the audience can't be quite sure if what they're being shown is the truth, or only a curated set of events to make them believe something else. You see, I have to operate under the assumption that the Resistance wins the campaign, as the DLC missions rely on that occurring. However, games like this allow us to see what happens in multiple outcomes of events, unlike reality. This hostage seems quite eager to accompany security forces if they manage to free him, needing no threats or prompting to escape. And Chen hastily orders his people to put him down if security gets that far. Not exactly what the good guys would do, eh?
They've destroyed the storage room door. You can't let them take our agents. MacLeod will torture him. Put him down now, and you'll be doing him a favor.
So, let's see how our characters react to this mission.
You heard the captain. Weapons hot. Shoot to kill.
Freaking guess. Come on, man. It's not every single guest. It's Chen.
He ain't leading them nowhere they don't want to already go. First demonstrations, then riots, now kidnapping. What next?
Look, I'm just saying that...
Where's this place we're going to again? Fish Farm Visitor Center. Back when we had visitors.
And fish.
Let's get this over with. Safety's off. It's showtime.
You ready for this, brothers?
An hour ago I was making my kids breakfast. Then I get the call and get given this gun. And now...
Was the movement just about spray painting slogans for you?
No, it's just kind of sudden.
You think this day hasn't been coming for years? Chen's tried everything to avoid this. We've no options left. Look, any moment now, MacLeod's thugs will pour in here. They won't be asking questions. Are you ready to use these, brothers?
I am ready.
Then let's do this.
Soup here wants to try to look on the bright side. He says that not all guests are Resistance. And while that may be true, Bald here is right in that you can't just assume the best. The Resistance hides amidst civilians. You can't identify them by sight. He also mentions riots, which is a clear sign that these are violent people that don't care about the well-being of others. On the Resistance side, Nose here is somewhat hesitant at first, now that open violence is upon them. Scars here claims that Chen has tried to avoid this, but as we'll see later, I rather doubt that.
Liar!
Given how eager he is to use that submachine gun, I doubt he's a person of outstanding moral character. Edgy doesn't say anything here, thankfully, though that won't last. Chen's forces are either stupid enough to believe his briefing despite the obvious inconsistencies, or violent enough to not care. Nose is the former, while Scars is the latter. So for the canon events to play out, the Resistance likely wins this mission, either by driving off the security forces long enough for the hostage to give up the information and die, or by putting him down after security breaches into the room they're interrogating him in. This grants them information about the Founders' intel and operating procedures that Chen will use going forward. Interestingly, whichever side wins uses the same boat for extraction. I wonder how that works, especially since this one doesn't have the normal Resistance graffiti on it.
Excellent, brothers. We have the intel. Ha! Come on home!
Excellent work, men. We freed the hostage and secured the site. Now we have terrorist prisoners to interrogate. We may be able to nip this insurgency in the bud.
I also like the environmental storytelling in this game. The 6 characters we see gradually equip heavier gear and use better weapons as the game progresses. Like how the security forces here wear gear similar to police, while by the end they look more like the military. We can also see information about the world in the level itself. Like here, where there is a description of how the Ark was made with a foundation of a substance called arcoral. Without it, creating the Ark wouldn't have been possible. Also, the signage on the walls indicate that this area saw usage in 2026 and 2027. I swear I didn't plan this video to be relevant to the time period in the game. It was just a happy little accident, like my existence.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy accidents.
Now, there are 2 campaigns in this game. One for the security and one for the resistance. They diverge slightly at first, but since this was a multiplayer game, both sides are playable. If the resistance is to escape, the next mission involves them breaking their only trained pilot out of prison. This is where events deviate. If they fail, then the canon DLC missions can't happen. So this is why I must assume that they win this campaign. So, let's get to the briefings of the next mission.
We've been holding Nechayev, the terrorist informant, in the infirmary for his own protection. But he suddenly stopped talking. Chen must be planning a raid to free him. Double the guards. Expect trouble. Assume they've already compromised or can bypass our defenses. No prisoners must escape. Kill Nechayev if you must, but no one leaves.
Why was Nechayev in the infirmary? He was healthy when we captured him. I don't... It's a drill, right? It's got to be a drill. Weapons hot.
Attacking us here, are they insane?
Well, you don't think they got a plan, huh? You don't think they've been planning this for months? Years? Man, they built this place. So what if they built it with a back door? They probably know more about our defenses than we do. Look alive!
Our spy in the Founders Council has given us the intel we need. Now we must act on it. The fascists are holding our only reliable pilot, Brother Nechayev, in Sect Tower. He's in the infirmary. You all know what that means. Go in and we'll break him and kill him. We need Nechayev to reach the outside world. He must be rescued.
Wow, security tower. This intel gets us in and out, right?
Finally, we hit them in the heart. No more checkpoints, no more strip searches. They won't know what hit them.
Hey, what's the matter? My brother. He signed up with security. What if it's him in my sights?
Your brother should have known better than to side himself with those fascists.
My brother is no fascist.
Everyone in there made their choices. If you hesitate for one moment, you'll die.
So, Nechayev was giving up information on the Resistance, but somehow he got a signal that the Resistance is planning to extract him, given that he spontaneously stopped talking, thus giving away his hand. On the security side, Soup here is questioning why Nechayev would be in the infirmary. Well, Sweet Pea, bad guys don't give up information just because you ask nicely. You have to make them.
First, it has to hurt.
Bald is dismissive of the Resistance, but Captain points out that parts of the Ark, like this very station, were built by guests. There's no way to know if they made additions that weren't part of the original plans. And that seems to be the case. Looking at the Resistance side, they have blueprints, and Scars here is delighted at the notion of attacking those looking to keep peace. He even cites No more checkpoints, no more strip searches. Good man, though I use those terms in their loosest possible sense, as you are not good, and are more like pond scum than a man. This is a government site. Of course there are checkpoints, and your violence has made such searches necessary. You are the problem. Edgy has his first lines here, and is worried about his brother, who has recently joined up with security. Well, at least he's better than you, but we never see him. And Nose here brings out the F word by declaring security as fascists. That's a word that people these days don't know the meaning of. Most people use it these days when they want to live off the government's benefits and get angry when they don't get stuff for free. We can even see the repugnant nature of Nose here by his expression when he confronts Edgy. Look at those soulless, evil eyes and the gormless way his jaw hangs open. It's a bad sign when Scars here has more decency, encouraging Edgy to not hesitate lest he be shot. So first, the Resistance needs to plant a charge on the gate to blow it open. I know it's for gameplay purposes, but they seem to be remarkably well supplied. After that, they need to hack into a safe to get the Warden's passcode, then they can free Nechayev and escort him out of the compound. Personally, if I was security, I would have just ended Nechayev after the gate was blown open, but aside from that, look at how security just gives up here. The Resistance just went around that corner and Nechayev can't move that fast. They can't have gone far. Go get them. This mission is a bit of a conundrum, as this is security's main base of operations. It should be teeming with armed personnel. An open assault should have resulted in massive casualties and a loss. The Resistance may have an entrance and exit, but we don't see them bypassing security themselves, especially when security knows they're coming. Their insertion point should have been deeper inside security's base, along with a force to distract them somewhere else.
Yes. Good work, brothers. Nechayev en route to a safe house. We have our pilot.
Regardless of that though, the Resistance does manage to get Nechayev out, so let's assess our next mission.
Our pilot brother Nechayev is hurt. He needs time to recover. And we need to figure out a way to get our hands on a nav computer. Meanwhile, I need you to guard our plans. They're encrypted on a data key cached in the old airport terminal. If we are compromised, a data bomb will activate, deleting everything. But if security do come knocking, you have to hold out long enough for the data key to delete itself. We are a direct threat to Mokoena's power now. He's turning Ark upside down looking for us. Everyone lie low. Stay alert. Guard the data key with your lives.
So Chen's using the data from the old air traffic control computer to plot a course? To where?
You really believe everyone drowned in that flood? There's still a world out there.
So why has no boat ever come back?
Well, that just proves it.
If there is a world out there, why haven't the Founders already asked for help? The sickness threatens their children too.
It doesn't affect the Founders. They live in luxury by keeping us here as slaves. Well, they need us. They need us weak. They cut off our water, they let us fall sick, and
Monorail's coming. It's security.
We hit the mother lode. One of the terrorists you captured was Nechayev, Chen's number 2. He's cooperating. He says Chen's been using the mainframe in the old airport terminal. We have to find out why. That terminal's been closed for years. They'll have had time to prepare defenses. You'll need to go in fast and hard, because we have to assume they'll trip an intel burn as soon as you show up. You won't have much time to find the data key and upload it to HQ for decryption. Then we'll have Chen by the balls.
don't care what you say. Intel raids using public transport is just embarrassing. Chopper fuel can't be that scarce.
So, this guy we captured,
The pilot, Nechayev?
Yeah, Nechayev. So he flips on his comrades, and now we grab Chen's plans and it's all over? All this for one guy? He's the one grumpy guest?
No, but he's the one scaring the guests into revolt with some bullshit story about a plague when it's really this year's flu.
Look, for all we know, Chen's put a bomb under every Pelgo in the Ark. We have to know what he's planning. Stop Chen, the violence stops, so ready up.
So Chen's plans are stored here, and he can't risk the security getting a hold of them. Honestly, I say it makes a bit more sense for security to win this mission, as now they'll be able to take action against Chen, furthering the plot. Nose and Scars have a back and forth, with Scars being adamant that there's civilization somewhere beyond the horizon. Well, you have exactly 0 proof of that, so what makes you so sure? And as stupid as he is, Nose even points out that no boat or plane has ever returned. What makes any of you believe that there's anyone out there you can reach? And even if there is, why would they help you for free? They'd be struggling just like you are. Edgy has now gone off the deep end though, sounding like some, what do the kids call them these days? Doomer? Going off about how oppressed he is while willfully ignoring the circumstances. So Edgy, I know that this is a difficult concept for you, but try to keep up. The Ark was never designed to accommodate all of you. That's why the water ration exists. The Ark can only purify so much water in a day. There are only so many resources now that the world is covered by water, so medicine is harder to produce. You want stuff handed out to you for free, but where do you believe it comes from? Resources don't magically appear, and those who obtain or make them are deserving of some reward, be it financial or otherwise for their labor. You just want a handout.
Oh, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Meanwhile, on the security side, Soup questions if nabbing these plans and Chen will end everything, while Bald states that Chen's the one whipping the resistance up into a violent insurgency. Bit of a flip from their prior conversation, but perhaps Bald is meaning that without Chen, the resistance won't have adequate enough leadership to organize. Captain supports this notion by saying that stop Chen and the violence stops. Is it any wonder why I side with security? So, security will need to hack open the entrance to the mainframe. Odd that they didn't just blow it open, but it is what it is. After that, they'll need to break open the safe, retrieve the data key, then get it back to their exfiltration site to upload it. It makes more sense for security to be successful here than the resistance in the previous mission, as they have more resources, and the resistance would have had to have made do with what they could scrounge up. Makawena seems to believe that this intel will allow them to capture Chen, though this never comes into fruition. Regardless of that, security now has the information to act against Chen.
Outstanding! Now we can stop whatever Chen's plotting and capture the bastard before he tries anything else.
But let's look at how both sides go from here.
We have a pilot, a destination, and a plane. All we need is a nav computer. And now, we have the chance to get one. Our missile shot down a security gunship with its nav computer still intact. We must beat security to the crash site and grab the nav computer from the wreckage. We've borrowed a maintenance bot to carry the nav computer to the getaway boat. Keep that bot moving. We'll be waiting to pick it up, but you have to get it to the boat.
We should have taken out more than just a fascist gunship.
Have you been listening to Makwena's propaganda? We're not terrorists!
Our people are dying like flies in the slums, and the founders still run a luxury resort.
Yeah, not so many tourists these days.
Exactly! Why don't they turn it over to us for housing? 5% of the population has 90% of the wealth. We live like slaves.
We're going through that?
Rubbing speed! Brace yourselves!
terrorists have downed one of our gunships. The pilot was forced to crash land on the Founder Resort Pelgo. Radio chatter indicates that a terrorist snatch squad and an armored extraction boat are already on their way to the crash site. Whatever they're after, they'll be using it to cause chaos. Don't let them touch the gunship crash site. Don't let them take anything from the chopper. Don't let anything off that Pelgo!
What the hell do the terrorists want with a crashed chopper?
Some sort of sick photo op, who
Maybe
knows?
the crew survived. Maybe they want them as hostages. Campbell!
Do we know which bird went down?
Doesn't matter, they're all our guys!
First the Founder's Tower, now this! And these terrorists are gonna pay!
Focus! Secure the crash site! You see a tango? Make him dead!
So, the Resistance need a nav computer, which Chen claims that they can get from a downed security helicopter. Oddly, he claims that they have a destination, which is never covered. If they get Nechayev in the air, how does he know where to go? Depending on how big the fuel tank of the plane he'll use is, the distance he can travel could range drastically. We also don't know when or how the Resistance shot down a helicopter. At first, I thought this was the one we see go down in the security What If mission. But those events only occur if Nechayev dies, and it gets downed nowhere near here. So it's up in the air how this happened. Unlike the helicopter, that is most certainly not in the air. Of course, every time Edgy opens his mouth, I would like to introduce it to a brick. And Nose tries to denounce Macarena's claims that they are bestowers of terror. I don't know if YouTube is going to get mad if I use that word. And while they might not be, as their goal isn't to incite terror, their actions bring harm to innocents and will bring more if they succeed. But we'll find out about that in a bit. Suffice it to say that these characters are not good people. Edgy then claims that the founders run a luxury resort, yet conveniently neglects that this was constructed prior to the ocean's rising, and there isn't much to indicate that it sees much use in its intended role. Edgy then proclaims that 5% of the population has 90% of the wealth. Where'd you get those statistics, I wonder? Sounds like commie nonsense to me.
Sounds like orc mischief to me.
You realize that a civilization needs a government, right? Resources don't just pop into reality just because you want them, and they need to be managed, lest fools like you take more than you would deserve. He also wonders why the founders don't use this area for housing. Well, genius, you're in an armed insurgency, and this is in their territory. Of course they're not going to let you psychopaths in. I know it's hard for someone lacking a fully functioning frontal lobe to comprehend, Edgy, but I promise you that the more you use your brain, the less it will hurt to think. With the security crew, they don't seem to know what it is that the Resistance wants with the helicopter, and Soup breaks from his normal optimism. I should point out that this scene from the security campaign takes place after the Resistance try to launch a missile at the Founders Tower, which Soup references, but that doesn't happen if they get a hold of Nechayev. I do have to commend Captain for bringing them both back to Earth and getting them focused on their objective, though. A leader needs to manage their people and keep them on track. Given that the Resistance needs to win this mission for their plane to take off, like in canon, I must assume that they are successful here. So, their first objective is to blow the column holding the crashed helicopter so that their rover can take its nav computer, then escort it to the boat. Here's the sequence from both perspectives when that happens.
Yes, we have the nav computer. Now we can finally get help from outside. Good job, brothers!
Ah, they got away with our nav computer. I don't even want to think what they'll use it for.
So, even once the Resistance get away, security know that they took a nav computer, but don't yet know what the Resistance want it for. Macarena should have some idea, given that they took Chen's plans, but perhaps they haven't been fully decrypted yet. This does make me wonder again why Chen claims that they know where to go to contact outsiders, and again makes me wonder why he believes they'll help him for nothing. A little more connective tissue is required for this point of the story. Anyway, what does the Resistance do next, and how does security respond?
Brothers, the sickness continues to spread through the guest pelgos. Until we get help from the outside world, we're on our own. So we've had to help ourselves. We stripped the medical equipment from the Hope and synthesized the vaccine. For now, whoever controls this vaccine controls the Ark. No surprise, Mokoena will kill to take it from us. The vaccine must reach the people. We can't let Mokoena steal it and ration it for priority personnel. Hold security off long enough for us to move the vaccine to safety. Do not let Mokoena's men steal it. Drive them back into the sea!
So, there's the vaccine?
Of course, you think Chen doesn't have a plan B in case we can't get out of here.
If there's the vaccine, shouldn't we share it out?
Exactly! We will share it! But do you think we can trust the Founders to distribute it fairly? Like the water rations? While we live like slaves while they live in luxury? Okay, I know what has to be done.
Good! Then ready up! Security will be here any minute. Defend the vaccine. Defend our homes.
The intel we recovered indicates Chen's been preparing operations against us for months. We've pinpointed a fortified vault in Container City. It's a bioweapons lab. He must be developing a viral bomb. We can't destroy it from the air. Civilian casualties would be unacceptable. We need to recover a sample before Chen can weaponize it. Then, we can devise a countermeasure. We're sending you in with the maintenance bot that can cut its way into the lab. Keep that bot moving. I know you didn't sign up to kick down the doors of civilians, but we have no choice here. Do your job.
Whoa, 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 do your job?
You aim, you shoot, what's the difference?
Guess what, live rounds in the middle of the guest slums?
The guests are Chen's eyes and ears. The place will be a ghost town by the time we get there.
But I have family there!
So do I, but we have a job to do here. Somebody fires at you, you put them down fast.
This is getting to us some stormtrooper BS.
You think I want to be here? We are doing what we have to do. Ready yourselves!
So, Chen and the Resistance are going on about a plague, but the security are skeptical about it. More than that, we have a case of the unreliable narrator again, with Chen telling his people that this is a vaccine, while Macarena declares that this is a bioweapon. Either way, it's a little odd that the Resistance could make either of those things. There's evidence for either option though. As seen in a what if, Chen doesn't want the Ark destroyed. In that mission, the Resistance take it upon themselves to detonate the Ark's nuclear reactor, killing everyone on it. His last words are to tell the troops that did it how stupid they were.
Who told you to do this? This wasn't the plan. I never meant you to. It was a bluff! We were bluffing! I said threaten to, not to actually do it! What were you thinking?
On the other hand, it would be simpler to create a weapon than a vaccine. A bioweapon just needs to do something to harm people. It could be anything. A vaccine needs to be very specific in what it's attempting to cure. If the Resistance had to go through such a method to acquire a single pilot, I doubt that they've got trained science staff to make a vaccine. Nose, Scars, and Edgy are at it again though, and Edgy proclaims in fanatical fashion that their group will share the vaccine. But again, how are you going to produce it? You clearly haven't thought through this for more than about 10 seconds, have you? He again cites the water rations, and I must say again, with the planet being covered by water now, resources are difficult to come by. The Ark can only create so much fresh water in a day, and you seem quite eager to accept government resources only to turn around and bite the hand that feeds. Scars even has this dramatic moment of standing on a couch and posing like he's some kind of hero. I don't like you, Scars. On the security side of things, Macarena even states how his men didn't sign up to kick down the doors of civilians, but unfortunately, like in real life, the Resistance thugs hide behind them, and so security has the unenviable task of trying to determine the innocent from the guilty at a moment's notice. I suspect Chen prefers it that way, so that when civilians get caught in the crossfire, he can blame security. This happens all too often in real life, with evil people putting the innocent between themselves and justice, only for the public to denounce the ones trying to do good. Bald brings up the point that the guests are Chen's eyes and ears, so they'll be long gone by the time security shows up. And he's right. There are no NPCs to be seen in this area. Taking a look around, this level does show us what the guests' living conditions are like. They've made do with what they can find, and have even created a sort of bar and den of activities I'm not at liberty to say here. Shaggy! They seem to be doing well enough, given the post-apocalyptic circumstances. Soup is having second thoughts about what they're doing. But you have a duty to perform. Chen's insurgents have a possible bioweapon. It's your responsibility to get in there and take it from them. It's what you signed up for. That is the nature of duty. You serve more than just yourself. So, the security need to first blow a barricade to allow their rover to get through the slums, repair a crane to get it across a trench, then escort it to the shipping container that houses the unknown chemical, then get that sample to the extraction chopper. Given that this mission has no bearing on the wider events of the narrative, I'll give the win to security here. Here's what happens when both sides witness this event.
Sample secured, fire team on board, en route to Sector.
Excellent work, men. Whatever that bioweapon is, our scientists will get working on a vaccine. Come on home.
They stole our vaccine. Now we're defenseless against the plague.
I'm still siding with security. Chen is a known liar, and it would be simpler for him to develop a nondescript virus than a vaccine.
You liar!
But now we come to the 6th and final mission of the base game, and this one is for all the marbles. It's now or never for the Resistance, so let's hear from both sides.
This is it, brothers. Now we have a nav computer, our destination, and our pilot. Our plane is nearly ready to fly. But Moquena has learned of our plans, and a security raid is incoming. Brothers, this is our final chance to escape the Ark and contact the outside world. Get that plane in the air. All our efforts have led up to this. Don't fail now!
You think they grabbed him?
We couldn't wait for him.
That plane is going to fly, right?
Maintenance to their job. Let's do our jobs.
When security hits, if you think you can get in that plane, will you do it?
Will you? What about your family?
My kids, Father provides. He provides a future. That's what I'm doing here.
Look, if I don't make it on the plane, or I do and you don't, it's been an honor.
Let's do our job.
Men, what I am about to tell you is classified. You are not to reveal this to anyone. There is an outside world, but it's in even worse shape than Ark. 13 years ago, we tried re-establishing contact. The team we sent was tortured to death to reveal our location. We had to move the entire Ark. We don't have the resources to move it again. We can't let Chen's fanatics reveal our coordinates. If the savages out there find us, they won't even leave our bones. You have to stop that plane from leaving!
So there really is a world out there.
Do you think the waters covered the mountaintops that no one survived?
Well, no, but maybe they could help.
Why would they be any better off than us? This place was built to run sustainably. The old world wasn't.
They probably been trying to find us since the flood. Get their hands on our tech.
Kelp farms, the turbines, the desalination plants.
Yeah, and do you think they're gonna ask nice or just take?
Damn right! We can't let them find us. We have to stop that plane.
Yeah!
So, the Resistance still need to put the finishing touches on the plane before they can take off, and security have to stop them. Macarena confirms, though, that there is an outside world, but it's full of savages that brutally killed the team that made contact. The opening cinematic confirms his story, as it is stated that the Ark was relocated. So, this confirms that if the Resistance succeeds, it will bring nothing but trouble to the Ark, whether Chen is aware of this or not. So, it would seem I was right after all. Edgy is thankfully gone. There's no confirmation as to what became of him, but judging from the dialogue of Scars and Nose here, we can assume that he was either killed or captured. Nose, somewhere deep down beneath his stupidity and wanton bloodlust, at least seems to care about his children, hoping to provide for them by contacting the outside world. Honestly, they'd be better off without him though, so hopefully he bites it. Scars even claims that it's been an honor, knowing that either one or both of them might not make it. Though a thug like this doesn't even have the slightest understanding of the concept. Hopefully he bites it too. On the flip side, Soup is still optimistic about learning of the outside world. But Bald replies as though he suspected as much, citing that the oceans couldn't have covered the mountaintops. Still, he's a bit harsh on Soup. Come on man, give the dude a break. He's just a little guy out here trying his best. Captain, however, brings things back into perspective. The Ark was made to run off the ocean, while the pre-flood world wasn't. The survivors out there wouldn't be any better off than the Ark. And even if they were, why would they help without getting anything in return? Bald adds that if they find the Ark, then they'll take it over at the cost of its population. So that's the score here. And the trio have a go team moment. A little odd that, like something out of a sports movie, but I'll take it. So the Resistance need to blow open the door to the storage depot to acquire the hydraulic fluid, get it to the plane, hack the warehouse controls to obtain the avionics module, get that to the plane, then repair the fuel pump, all to make the plane skyworthy. And looking at this, I ask myself, why doesn't security just damage the plane? Sure, you may be down a plane, but you keep the Ark safe. Even just damaging its controls enough so that they can't be used would suffice. It could be done by one guy with a gun, grenade, or sledgehammer. But for the 2 canon DLC missions that follow, the Resistance have to be successful, and the reactions from Chen and Macarena are as follows.
Ha! Victory! Brother Nechayev will soon return with help from the outside world, and we'll all be free. You did it, brothers. You did it!
We better pray that plane runs out of fuel before it reaches the outside world.
Well, Macarena had very little to say, and Chen is still remarkably naive. This is also the last we see of all 6 characters from the Resistance and Security, as they don't appear in the DLC missions. So either they died during this mission, or were elsewhere. Maybe the savages gave Nose and Scars a taste of their own medicine. One can only hope. So, with those events laid out, it's revealed that Nechayev did in fact make contact, though we have no idea what happened to him or any Resistance members that went with him. Let's see what happens next.
Brothers, just as I said he would, Nechayev has sent back help from the outside world, and more is undoubtedly on its way. A new day is dawning, but we cannot let the Founders squander the Ark's future. The original Ark-World prototype is stored in this laboratory's biosequencer. Control of the Ark-World sample is vital. Whoever holds that sample controls the Ark. It's as simple as that. It's our ticket out of here. It belongs to the guests.
Cut out the brothers' crap! There is a security agent among us. It could be any of you. The original Encore prototype is the one thing we can use to battle with the outside world. It belongs to the guests. We can't let the Founders just give it away. Blast your way down there. Activate the biosequencer. Then get the Accord sample back to the docking bay. There will be a sub to extract you.
Nothing's changed. Chen's terrorists are still trying to seize power. They're after the original Arcoral prototype held in this secure lab facility. The Arcoral seed sample is the Ark's one tradable asset, and I'm damned if I'm going to let Chen hold us to ransom with it. We've had an undercover agent inside the Resistance feeding us vital intel. He'll meet you there and brief you directly. His face and voice must remain disguised, or his cover will be compromised. Do exactly what he says, or we lose the Ark.
Whoa! Swordfish 114! Okay. The original Arcoral prototype is saved on this lab's biosequencer. Stop the terrorists from accessing the elevator shaft. If they do, fall back, but don't let them activate that biosequencer. Oh, yeah. They stole a maintenance submarine from engineering. It must be their getaway. Don't let them get that Arcoral sample. Don't let them get to the submarine. Good luck.
So, the Outsiders want to know how to make Arcoral, and Chen's rabble are looking to take its sample from the labs, even claiming that it belongs to the guests. No, genius. That is in no way, shape, or form your property. It belongs to the ones who made the Ark possible. You know, the Founders. Macarena even confirms that this is the only unique resource that the Ark can potentially trade for, and so whoever holds it determines what happens to the Ark. And an interesting point is that both factions now have a spy amidst the other. The Resistance seem to know that there is a spy amongst them, but they don't know who it is. Meanwhile, the security forces don't seem to suspect that there's a traitor in their midst. The Resistance's spy gives them the lowdown, telling them how to get into the lab and informing them that there is a submarine that will be their exfiltration vehicle. The security spy almost got himself a taste of friendly fire, though he did produce the right password. Strange that he wasn't blindfolded though, as him being able to see where he was taken would be potential intel for the enemy if he got away and was hostile. He does confirm where the Resistance got the sub though, which was used for maintenance. A nice little bit of world building. It makes sense that there would be some of these around. But now, we're freed from the shackles of canon, and I get to decide who wins.
I am assuming direct control.
So, I, liking happy endings, will say that the security prevent the Resistance from gaining the Arcoral sample. This is a secure facility after all, and Chen succeeding with the plane would hopefully prompt the Founders to take things more seriously.
Ha ha ha! We still have the secret of Arcoral. Suddenly the future's a little brighter. Good work.
Without Arcoral to barter with, we have nothing to offer the world outside. This could be very tough.
Ah, look at the filth flee. Indeed, Makoena. The future does seem a little brighter. Hearing Chen sound so hopeless does put a grin on my face. But now, we've reached the final mission of the game, and this one has the Resistance going all in. Let's have a look.
We need to create a beacon of hope. Founders Tower will be our lighthouse, a torch visible for miles. We have assembled a sort of firework, a highly visible firework. Also, we've liberated some parachutes. Defend the charge until it's about to blow, then get the hell out. If you choose to stay for the firework, well, we salute your sacrifice. We have an undercover agent, highly placed in the Founders Council. He'll get you into Founders Tower and brief you on the situation. Follow his instructions as if they were my own orders. For a free arc!
Okay, this is it. I've shown you the layout of the tower. The fertilizer barrels are all up there just as we have planned. Now all you have to do is hold off the security, but make sure you guard the detonator until it detonates. Okay, right. Whatever you do, make sure you give me enough time to get away. I have to survive in case there are other missions. It's Chen's orders, eh? We are doing this for a free arc, for a better future. Good luck.
Chen's running out of time, and he's got desperate. The terrorists are going after Founders Tower again. They tried and failed with that missile. Now they're trying with a bomb. An enormous bomb. The detonator is armed and counting down. Our undercover agent will brief you on site about how to get in there and disarm the thing. Don't fail me now.
We should have known when the seaweed nitrate production figures were out. That fertilizer bomb is massive. It'll take the whole tower with it. The detonator? It can't be disarmed, only removed. And even once removed from the main charge, if it goes off within 20 meters, it'll set the whole thing off. Get past their defenses. Get up there, remove the detonator, and then dump it as far away as you can. The clock is ticking. Let's go!
So, the Resistance have, somehow, planted a massive bomb within the Founders Tower. Not sure how that was set up undetected, but that's what we're dealing with. Chen states that he wants to make this a symbol, and the smoke from it will be visible for miles around. But there's more to it than this. Notice how when he says, "for a free arc," it sounds like he's distracted. It sounds like a platitude, like it isn't something he's passionate about, like an afterthought. Now, why might this be? Remember that. We'll get to it in a moment. We also have a stark contrast between the two spies. Ugandan Knuckles for the Resistance shows his hand as a complete coward. He flees the scene while condemning the other Resistance members to death. He also doesn't sound like he believes the slogans coming out of his mouth. Meanwhile, the security spy decides, "F it, we ball," and goes in alongside the other security personnel. That's the way it's done. But he tells us that the only way to stop the bomb is to remove the detonator and get it as far away from the bomb as possible, as it has a wireless signal. So, the security need to hack the door controls to get inside, use explosive charges to get through the next 2 sets of doors, have an engineer crack open the detonator's casing, then run it up to the tower and out of range of the explosives. Like I said, I like myself a happy ending, so I'm going to say that the security won. Here's how both sides react.
That was too damn close. You just saved Founder's Tower. You just saved the Ark.
Brothers, we will never be free from the Founders now.
Makawena is hopeful, while Chen is crushed. His words are telling though. He declares that they'll never be free from the Founders. I'm going to call it as I see it. Chen doesn't care about his people or believe any of the speeches he's giving. He wants power. He wants to control the Ark for himself and live like a king. His cover slips at the end. Blowing Founder's Tower accomplishes nothing without the Founders in it. He wants to make a statement. I know that stories across media love to tell of an underdog rebellious force fighting against a tyrannical government, but that isn't what's happening here. The Founders are trying to keep the Ark afloat and provide for as many as they can, while the Resistance either just want more resources or are looking for a target to lash out against. So, Brink had the core of a good story here, one that prompts the players to do a little more digging than what's seen on the surface. But how could it have capitalized on that? Well, I'd say that the game needed a little more time in the oven. Maybe give us a few single-player exclusive levels so that the narrative can be focused on without needing to balance it around multiplayer. Flesh out the characters of Soup, Bald, Captain, Nose, Scars, and Edgy in these missions. Let us get a better idea of who they are so that we can get attached to them. Single-player levels can have scripted events, dialogue, and cutscenes that multiplayer can't. That's how we could really put down some roots. What really pushed the Resistance characters over the edge? Why did the security characters sign up? How are their forces organized? Maybe even have Makawena and Chen appear in person, so that we can see more of them. The environmental storytelling is also great in this game, which is another reason why I wanted to see more. The different accents from characters really sell that people from all over the world ended up here. We see the Resistance slums and how they've adapted to this new life, and contrast it with areas that the Founders occupy and how clean they are. Maybe for gameplay purposes, these missions could unlock unique weapons or attachments for the multiplayer crowd to incentivize them to play them. Maybe even unlock some appearance customization as well. I like how you can also see your character in cutscenes. That Resistance guy with the pre-hockey mask Jason Voorhees bag on his head? That's me. The security officer whose mask looks like a leech? Also me. These levels could also act as connective tissue, fleshing out the points between missions that don't quite add up or jump drastically. All in all though, what Brink needed narratively was more substance. Give us some more to sink our teeth into, to keep it from being surface level. But what do you think of Brink? I enjoyed it quite a bit back in the day, much to the contrast of the general public. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a like on this video if you're so inclined, and subscribe to see more. I would like to thank you for watching, and may you all have a weapon in each hand.